Stop scrolling. Because what you're about to watch isn't just a preview of the upcoming WNBA season. It's a warning. The league isn't just growing anymore. It's boiling over. And by the final buzz of 2026, a legacy will either be cemented forever or shattered in real time. That you've seen the highlight reels. You've read the hot takes. You've watched the analysts hand out trophies before the opening tip. But they're missing the real story. This isn't about who's the most talented. It never really was. It's about who survives the weight of the spotlight. Right now, the WNBA sits at a tipping point, a pressure cooker disguised as a sports calendar. The cameras aren't just rolling, they're hunting. Every dribble is scrutinized. Every missed free throw becomes a national headline. Every sideline glance turns into a viral debate. The athletes aren't just playing basketball. They're playing against the algorithm, and that changes everything. Look at the roster transformations over the last 3 years. The talent pool hasn't just expanded, it's mutated. You got generational scorers stepping onto floors where veterans already built dynasties. You got rookies who've never tasted a regular season loss, walking into arenas that used to sleep through Tuesday nights. The energy isn't just electric anymore, it's volatile. Think about the last time a league shifted this fast. It wasn't about strategy, it was about survival. Who bends first? Who breaks? Who leans into fire and refuses to flinch? The pundits want to talk about offensive ratings and defensive switches. They'll argue about spacing, pick-and-roll efficiency, and second-chance points. But basketball at this level isn't won on whiteboards. It's won in the quiet moments, when the arena goes dead silent, when the shot clock bleeds down to 2, when a superstar has to decide whether to play it safe or gamble everything on a possession that will either make history or end it. That's the invisible battlefield entering 2026, and at the center of it, a collision of egos, expectations, and raw, unfiltered ambition. The old guard built empires with patience. They master the grind. They learn how to pace a championship run across months, not moments. But the new wave doesn't have patience. They don't want to wait their turn. They want the crown now. And when hunger meets legacy at full speed, something has to give. You can already feel it in the locker rooms. The subtle shifts in body language during warm-ups. The way veterans guard the perimeter with a little more bite. The way newcomers demand the rock on the very first possession. It's not disrespect. It's declaration. A silent message that says, I'm not here to participate. I'm here to take over. But here's the uncomfortable truth nobody on sports television wants to admit. The weight of this attention is heavier than the physical toll of 40 games. It's psychological warfare. Every post-game interview is a tightrope. Every social media post is a landmine waiting to detonate. The athletes know that one wrong word can derail a franchise's entire season. They know that one cold shooting night can erase months of preparation in the court of public opinion. They're armoring up. They're training differently. They're hiring sports psychologists, media coaches, and mental performance specialists like never before. Because physical conditioning only takes you so far when the mental battlefield is expanding by the hour. And yet, the game itself is about to demand more than just resilience. It's about to demand a choice. Play within the system and trust the chemistry that won you rings, or break the mold, force the tempo, and risk everything to seize a moment that might not come again. That's the exact crossroads where the 2026 season is heading. Teams are quietly rewriting their playbooks. Coaches are experimenting with lineups that would have been unthinkable 2 years ago. The traditional hierarchy of the league is cracking under the strain of new identities demanding space. The old formulas are still taught, but the new reality is already being lived. Which means we aren't watching a regular season unfold. We're watching a revolution in slow motion, and it's only a matter of days before the first major crack shows up on the surface. Because the preseason is over. The training camps are closing. The real test isn't about who practiced the hardest. It's about who can breathe through the fire when the whistle blows for game one. The pressure is already here, and it's about to break someone. Here's the moment that changes everything. Not a trade. Not an injury, not a championship parade. It's quieter than that, more dangerous. It's the split second when a superstar realizes the rules they played by their entire career no longer apply. Picture this. Fourth quarter. Tie game. 10 seconds left. The arena is deafening. The cameras are locked on one player. The entire league is holding its breath. But this time, it's not just about making the shot. It's about what happens after. The celebration, the stare, the silence, the explosion. Every reaction is now a headline. Every emotion is now a weapon that's the new WNBA. And the players who understand that first, they won't just win games. They'll win the narrative. Let's talk about Aya Wilson, the reigning MVP, the defensive anchor, the player who built her legacy on consistency, dominance, and quiet leadership. She's done everything right. She's earned every ounce of respect. But respect doesn't always translate to relevance in an era that craves chaos. Wilson knows the target on her back isn't just from opponents. It's from the clock, from the next generation charging up the ladder, from the millions of new fans who didn't watch her rise, but are ready to judge her fall. She's not just defending a title anymore. She's defending an era, and that pressure, it doesn't show up in the box score. It shows up in the way she studies film at 3 a.m., in the way she rehearses interview answers, in the way she chooses her words like chess moves. Because one misstep, one moment of frustration, and the internet will rewrite her story in seconds. Now shift to Caitlin Clark. Her name isn't just trending. It's transforming the business of women's basketball. Ticket sales, broadcast deals, merchandise spikes. She didn't just enter the league. She accelerated its timeline. And with that acceleration comes a different kind of weight. It's not just about proving she belongs. It's about proving the hype wasn't a fluke, that the attention wasn't just novelty, that she can carry a franchise through the grind of a full season, not just the highlight reels of March. But here's the twist nobody sees coming. The more Clark succeeds, the more the league's ecosystem adapts. Defenses scheme specifically to take her out. Opponents play with extra fire when she's on the floor. Every game becomes a referendum on her impact. And that's exhausting, mentally, emotionally, physically, because basketball is a team sport. But the spotlight, it's brutally individual. Then there's Breanna Stewart, the two-time MVP, the championship winner, the player who's already done what so many only dream of. So why does she look hungrier than ever? Because legacy isn't static. It's a living thing. And Stewart knows that in a league exploding with new stars, past achievements don't guarantee future reverence. She's not chasing rings anymore. She's chasing immortality. And that requires a different kind of sacrifice, a different kind of risk. She's played with a chip that doesn't make sense on paper, but it makes perfect sense in the heart. And Angel Reese, don't mistake her confidence for arrogance. Don't confuse her swagger for insecurity. What you're witnessing is a player who has turned doubt into fuel. Every critic, every comparison, every whispered comment about her game has been logged, stored, weaponized. Reese isn't just trying to prove she belongs among the elites. She's trying to redefine what elite looks like. And in a league that's rapidly evolving, that kind of ambition is either revolutionary or reckless. But here's where the story gets dangerous. These aren't isolated journeys. They're colliding orbits. When Wilson drops 30 points, the conversation isn't just about her dominance. It's about whether Clark could have done it better. When Clark breaks a record, the debate isn't just about her skill. It's about whether she's overshadowing the veterans who paved the way. When Stewart makes a clutch play, the analysis isn't just about execution. It's about whether she's still the standard. When Reese dominates a glass, the narrative isn't just about effort. It's about whether her style is the future. Every performance is now a comparison. Every highlight is now a battleground. And the teams, they're caught in the crossfire, the Liberty, the Aces, the Sky, the Fever. These aren't just franchises anymore. They're symbols, representations of different philosophies, different timelines, different visions for what the WNBA should become. The veteran-led super teams believe in chemistry, in system basketball, in the slow burn of championship experience. They trust the process. They've seen the movie before. They know how the third act plays out. But the emerging contenders, they don't want to wait for the script. They want to rewrite it. They're betting on emotion, on momentum, on the raw, unfiltered energy of a generation that's never known a WNBA without a spotlight. And that clash of ideologies, It's not happening in boardrooms. It's happening in the paint, on the perimeter. In the huddle point, one bad possession could expose a fracture. One heated exchange could become a season-defining moment. One quiet locker room could hide a storm waiting to break. Because pressure doesn't just test individuals. It tests relationships, trust, communication, the unspoken bonds that hold a team together when the world is watching. And in 2026, the world isn't just watching, it's judging. In realtime.so, ask yourself this. When the stakes are this high and the margins are this thin, what breaks first? The strategy, the chemistry, or the person carrying the weight of it all? The answer is about to unfold. And it starts with a single game, a single play, a single decision that will echo far beyond the final buzzer. Because the season hasn't even tipped off yet, and someone's already on the edge. What if the biggest threat to a championship isn't another team, but the silence between teammates? Because in 2026, the most dangerous plays won't be drawn up on a clipboard. They'll be born in a glance, a hesitation, a choice not to pass. The game within the game isn't about X's and O's anymore. It's about trust. And trust is fragile when everyone's fighting for their own legacy. Let's pull back the curtain. Inside every WNBA locker room right now, there's a conversation happening that never makes the highlight reels. It's not about play execution. It's about ego management. About who gets the last shot, who leads the huddle, who speaks first in the post-game interview. These aren't small details. They're the invisible threads that either hold a championship together or unravel it stitch by stitch. The veteran-led teams built their cultures on sacrifice, on the idea that the star takes the tough shot only when the system breaks down. But what happens when the system is being challenged by a new generation that believes the star should create the breakdown? That's the philosophical war simmering under the surface of the 2026 season, and it's about to explode. Think about the Liberty, the Aces. These aren't just talented rosters. They're delicate ecosystems, years of chemistry, unspoken understandings, roles carved in stone. But now, the pressure to adapt is crushing. Do they stick with the system that won them rings? Or do they evolve to match the emotional intensity of the new wave? One wrong adjustment could fracture everything, because basketball at this level isn't just about skill. It's about rhythm. And rhythm requires harmony. When one player starts playing the highlight reel instead of the game clock, the entire tempo shifts. Suddenly, possessions feel rushed, defenses get lazy, trust erodes, and in a league where margins are measured in inches, that erosion is fatal. Now, layer on the MVP race. This isn't just an award anymore. It's a battleground, a narrative weapon. If Aya Wilson puts up another dominant season, the argument is simple. She's still the best player on the planet. But what if Caitlin Clark averages a triple-double while carrying a team the experts wrote off? What if the stats are historic, but the wins are just good enough? The media won't just debate it. They'll weaponize it. Every Clark highlight will be framed as a revolution. Every Wilson defensive stop will be framed as tradition. And the players, they'll feel every word, every take, every comparison. That's the hidden tax of this new era. You're not just playing against opponents. You're playing against perception. And perception moves faster than any fast break. But here's where it gets even more unpredictable. Angel Reese isn't just chasing respect. She's chasing a redefinition. Her game isn't built on finesse. It's built on force. On rebounding like her career depends on it. On scoring with a chip the size of a championship trophy. And that style, it doesn't just win games. It shifts momentum. It changes the emotional temperature of an arena. When Reese dominates the glass, it's not just a stat. It's a statement. A message that says, your system doesn't work if I control the second chance. And that message doesn't just affect the opposing team. It affects her own. Because now, her teammates start looking for her in different moments. The offense bends. The defense compensates. The entire ecosystem adapts to her energy. That's power. But power without balance is chaos. And chaos is exactly what the younger teams are betting on. They don't have the veteran chemistry. They don't have the championship pedigree. But they have something more dangerous in a pressure cooker season. Nothing to lose. When you're not expected to win, every victory is a shockwave. Every upset is a declaration. Every moment of brilliance isn't just a play. It's proof that the old order can be broken. And that mindset, it's contagious. Point one young team starts playing with fearless emotion. They take risks. They force pace. They turn games into track meets. And suddenly, the veterans are forced to play a style they didn't prepare for. A style that doesn't reward patience. It rewards instinct. That's the gamble entering 2026. That will experience hold the line, or will emotion rewrite the rules? Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Emotional basketball is unpredictable. It's messy. It's prone to streaks, both hot and cold. But it's also explosive. And in a league where attention is currency, explosive moments are worth more than steady efficiency. The analytics will tell you to trust the system. The veterans will tell you to trust the process. But the fans, the new fans flooding into the league, they don't want process. They want moments. They want drama. They want to witness history in real time. And the players know ITSO. The question isn't whether emotion will enter the game. It's whether the league's biggest stars can harness it without being consumed by it. Can Aya Wilson lead with authority without seeming rigid? Can Caitlin Clark embrace the spotlight without letting it distort her game? Can Brianna Stewart chase immortality without sacrificing the team? Can Angel Reese turn doubt into dominance without isolating herself? These aren't rhetorical questions. They're the exact dilemmas playing out in practice facilities right now, in film sessions, in late-night text threads between teammates. And the answers won't come in press conferences. They'll come in crunch time, when the game is on the line, when the weight of the moment is heaviest. Because that's when legacy is decided, not in the stats, not in the headlines, but in the choice a player makes when everyone is watching and no one can help them point one possession, one decision, one breath. That's all it takes to change everything. And the season hasn't even started yet. But the clock is ticking, and somewhere right now, a superstar is staring at the ceiling, wondering if they're ready for what comes next. The first crack doesn't come with a headline. It comes with a sigh, a misassignment, a frustrated glance, a teammate who doesn't clap you up after a turnover. These are the quiet moments that signal something's shifting. And in 2026, the smallest fractures become canyons under the weight of the spotlight. Because the season has begun, and the WNBA isn't just playing basketball anymore. It's performing under a microscope that never blinks. Early games aren't just about finding rhythm. They're about sending messages. Every possession is a statement. Every defensive stop is a declaration. Every celebration is a signal. The league isn't easing into the season. It's detonating from the opening tip. And the media machine, it's fueling the fire. Highlights aren't just posted anymore. They're weaponized. A clutch three-pointer from Clark isn't just a basket. It's proof she's taking over. A dominant post move from Wilson isn't just skill. It's evidence the old guard still reigns. A hustle play from Reese isn't just effort. It's validation that her style works at this level. Every clip is a narrative grenade, and the players, they're living inside the explosion. Imagine waking up every morning to thousands of opinions about your last possession. Imagine knowing that one bad quarter could trend worldwide. Imagine understanding that your value isn't just measured in wins, but in engagement metrics, brand deals, and cultural relevance. That's the new reality. And it's exhausting. But here's what nobody talks about. The players who thrive in this environment aren't necessarily the most talented. They're the most adaptable. The ones who can separate the noise from the game. The ones who can hear the crowd but still hear their own breath. Because basketball at its core is still simple. Put the ball in the hoop. Stop the other team from doing the same. Trust your teammates. Execute under pressure. But when pressure becomes permanent, simplicity becomes survival. And that's where the 2026 season turns brutal. Because the schedule doesn't care about narratives. The clock doesn't care about legacies. The game doesn't care about hype. IT only cares about who shows up. And showing up isn't just about physical presence anymore. It's about mental availability, emotional resilience, the ability to lock in when the world is pulling you in 10 different directions. Some players will rise to that challenge. Others will buckle. And the difference between those two paths? It might come down to a single moment. Picture this, mid-season, a nationally televised game. The stakes aren't just about standings. They're about identity. A veteran star, feeling the weight of expectations. forces a tough shot over a double team. It clanks off the rim. The other team races down court. Easy bucket. Momentum shift to eye in the pass. That possession might have been forgotten by halftime. But not now. Within seconds, the clip is everywhere. Analysts debate the decision. Fans argue the mentality. Teammates exchange glances that say more than words ever could. That one play doesn't just cost 2 points, the IT costs trust. And trust, once fractured, is incredibly hard to rebuild, especially when the next game is already trending before the current one ends. This is a hidden battlefield of 2026. Not the paint, not the perimeter, the space between expectation and execution. And the teams that navigate that space best won't necessarily be the most talented. They'll be the most unified, the ones who can silence the noise long enough to hear each other. But unity is hard when everyone's fighting for their own story. Which brings us to the MVP race. Because it's not just about stats anymore. It's about symbolism if Aya Wilson dominates. It's not just an award. It's a referendum on tradition, on the idea that consistency, leadership, and two-way excellence still matter most. If Caitlin Clark puts up historic numbers, it's not just a campaign. It's a revolution, a signal that the future has arrived. And it looks different than the past if Breanna Stewart leads a championship charge. It's not just a season. It's a coronation. Proof that greatness isn't fleeting. It's forged if Angel Reese takes another leap. It's not just progress. It's a reckoning. A challenge to every assumption about style, substance, and what it means to be elite. The MVP trophy isn't just hardware, it's a mirror, and what it reflects will shape the league for years to come. But here's the twist. The MVP race might not be decided by the best player. IT might be decided by the best story. And in an era where attention is currency, narrative can outweigh numbers. That's the dangerous game entering the second half of the season. Players aren't just competing for wins. They're competing for legacy, for influence, for the right to define what the WNBA becomes next. And that competition isn't always played with sportsmanship. Sometimes it's played with silence, with subtle digs, with body language that speaks louder than words. Because in a league that's emotional, every interaction is a signal. And signals can start wars, which is why the most important games of 2026 might not be the playoffs. They might be the ones nobody's watching closely enough. The Tuesday night matchups, the back-to-backs, the games where fatigue meets frustration, where egos collide, where trust is tested not by strategy, but by stamina. That's where championships are really won. Not in the spotlight, in the shadows. And right now, in locker rooms across the league, someone is making a choice .toholdon.org to let go. And that choice, it's about to change everything.